Back at school almost 20 years ago, a quote hung on the wall, and I'll never forget it. It was written anonymously. Here's what it said. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. Made me think. And you know, my mom told me all of the time, people will follow you, so you better lead wisely. Baseball coaches, later drill sergeants, then chefs, and now John Winter, as well as many others, say the same thing. The question is, do I believe them? Am I living up to their expectations, the expectations they have put on me, or am I even living up to my own? I'm not sure where you may find yourself as you watch this, but I think we can all agree. We all have expectations. Every relationship involves expectations, whether it's at home, church, work, school, or even around our neighborhood. When you enter into marriage, you have expectations, and so will the other people in your life. In your parenting, you have expectations of your kids, and guess what, parents? Your kids have expectations of you too. It is true on your job, at your bank, in your neighborhood, at the gym, on a bike, on a highway, or even in the classroom. Everywhere you go, expectations are all around. When you join a church, sit on the leader team, in a meeting, sponsor a youth program, teach or serve in KidsLink, prepare the service folders, ushers at service, serve on the worship team, the nursery, expectations are always involved. How we manage these expectations will largely determine the character and quality of our relationships. There are two very obvious expectations we deal with every single day, and they are spoken expectations versus unspoken expectations. Can I get an amen on that one? Now, let's all be honest. All miscommunications are the result of differing assumptions. I know for me personally, I think that I have many spoken expectations, but when I get into an argument with my wife or a friend, I realize that those expectations have actually been unspoken ones, making them, you guessed it, assumptions. You know, when expectations are poorly expressed, some negative emotions emerge, many of which can be destructive in any relationship. Two of these emotions, anger and sadness. Maybe it's the feeling of the person whose expectations are not being fulfilled. Your spouse, your pastor, colleague, or any person with whom you have a relationship where their expectations are poorly expressed. The other two emotions, anxiety and shame, these may be the feelings of the person who is trying to meet the expectations of another individual. So, let's talk about these real quick. Anger. Anger is when we are prevented from seeing our own expectation realized. When this happens, we often respond with anger. A teen may be angry with a parent who blocks the way to seeing an expectation realized, or maybe a spouse can become resentful and angry with their partner who stands in the way of a dream coming true, or you may feel sadness, well, much less intense, it's not less hurtful. When expectations are simply lost, forgotten, or ignored, there is sadness and a feeling of being unappreciated. In either case, these feelings take us down a road and corrupt any relationship. They are the soil that produces a harvest of hurt. Anxiety. Anxiety, this can become our emotional pitfall. We may feel this way when we are uncertain of what exactly someone's expectations are. They won't talk. They say, if you really care, you would know. But the truth is you don't know, and you find yourself saying, what in the world do they really want? They give me something to do, but never tell me what they expect. They just complain. And then there's shame. Shame when it's clear we have failed to meet the expectation of the other person. We feel embarrassed, we feel ashamed and unworthy. Children often struggle with this emotion when they come to the conclusion they can never please their parents. So that leads us to where do expectations come from? I truly believe that they come from our past relationships, jobs, experiences, heartaches, baggage, and so on. Some lessons can be learned from a biblical story. One in Genesis 24. Abraham sends his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac. In commissioning his servant, several expectations were clearly expressed. After these are expressed, the servant steps out confidently, conscious of his master's expectations, and in due process is able to fully meet them. That's how relationships grow deep and strong. That's how one can maintain stability in any relationship. So, what are healthy expectations? Well, there are a couple healthy expectations that we want to talk about. The first one is expressed expectation. Someone concluded that 80% of our expectations are assumed and never really even expressed. Consider for a second one of your relationships. How many expectations have you actually expressed and discussed? See, most are assumed. We may not agree with another person's expectation, but you do need to understand what they expect. Don't guess so, know so. Ask and listen. Give the person the opportunity to express what they are thinking. On the other hand, we too have expectations. Don't withhold them. Don't be silent. Express them as well. The next one is to have realistic expectations. As we read in 1 Corinthians 13, it says this, "And now I will show you the best way of all." See, we're being told some expectations here. "I may speak in different languages of people or even angels, but if I do not have love, I am only a noisy bell or a crashing cymbal. I may have the gift of prophecy, I may understand all the secret things of God and have all knowledge, and I may have faith so great I can move mountains. But even with all these things, if I do not have love, then I am nothing. I may give away everything I have, and I may even give my own body as an offering to be burned. But I gain nothing if I do not have love." You see, here's the expectation. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous. It does not brag, and it is not proud. Love is not rude, is not selfish, and does not get upset with others. Love does not count up wrongs that have been done. Love is not happy with evil, but is happy with the truth. Love patiently accepts all things. It always trusts, always hopes, and always remain strong. Guys, this is important. These are the expectations that we find right here. These expectations aren't assumed. They are clearly expressed. These are great and obtainable expectations we can have for one another. I don't get it though. We do have some limitations: time, physical strength, training, skills, facility, education, personality, experience, finances, and dozens more. So with negotiated expectations are where expressed expectations can be transformed into realistic expectations. In order for that to happen, however, you must talk, communicate, and be honest and really able to share your thoughts. Finally, and most importantly, we need to understand that Jesus is the only person, the only relationship that can meet all of our expectations. Not a spouse, a pastor, a parent, a hobby, a job, a book, or a song. Only Jesus. John 1:45 through 46 explains this very well. It says, "The next day Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and he said to him, 'Follow me.' Now Philip was from the town of Bethsaida, where Andrew and Peter lived. Philip found Nathanael and told him, 'We have found the man that Moses wrote about in the law, and the prophets also wrote about him. He is Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth.' But Nathanael said to Philip, 'Can anything good come from Nazareth?' And Philip answered, 'Come and see.'" This is a great picture. Too often we miss it, church. We miss it because we think like Nathanael. We live in the present with the past expectations. Because we had a bad, non-existent dad, we too believe that God is also bad when that couldn't be further than the truth. Jesus, our Father in heaven, He knows everything and He knows exactly what we need. We must not forget that. He meets us at the level of our expectations. So my question to you is, where do you find yourself today?